Hello there. We are right now in January 2021, and I think 2021 is a really good year to start everything fresh. I think a lot of people want a fresh start. And as we are already getting moving on in the calendar year, a lot of people associate February with Valentine's Day and with romance and chocolate and flowers. And I was born on Valentine's Day, and I have never been into that stuff. And what I've been doing the last several years in February is I have been doing sessions which are designed for self care and self love. And I call them Fly First Love Yourself. And I will be doing some sessions in person and virtual, free or donation based. So check out I have them mentioned more on Instagram and on Facebook. My Instagram is, I'll put it in the comments, but my Instagram is my name, the same as YouTube channel. And Facebook, it's the Namaste Council. But anyway, I think that loving yourself and taking care of yourself are essential. And again, first love yourself, FLY, is I did not make that up. A lot of people use that name, fly. And so I want to first ask you about the word fly. What do you think of when you hear that word fly? So I have a linguistics background and I really like to analyze words, especially because I am a writer and I read a lot. And to me, I have always loved flying. I've been a lifelong traveler, although it was on the road, in a car and bus long before I was in planes as much. But to me, ever since I was a child, I associated flying with birds, and I thought of freedom, and I thought of the way the birds are soaring, and it is just to me so uplifting. And at the same time, you are closer to the heavens when you are flying. So, what I want to suggest about the word fly also is that when you fly, you are leaving behind baggage, right? And baggage, nobody wants baggage. So I want to talk about some of those things that are baggage that weigh us all down and that we all need to get rid of to be able to fly. And it's not as easy as just checking your bag and then they will get to where they're going. The baggage that I'm talking about are things that our lives, our society, everything has been piling against us. And one of them is self-doubt. And I think it is so normal for people to have self-doubt. Um, you may think, even let's just say a Muhammad Ali, one of the things that I think was so beautiful about Muhammad Ali is when he was in his fighting days, he had the attitude of a winner. And you have to have the attitude of a winner in order to succeed. And it's not about being um, about, you know, thinking you're the greatest. And of course, he would say he was the greatest, but he said it in such a beautiful way that to me it was not offensive at all. But the problem is that most of us are constantly doubting ourselves. So let's just say I'm a boxer, and let's say I know that I have the best trainer and that I've been training so well and that I've, got the best record. But still, I know at the time that I'm going to be getting into the ring, I'd have a lot of doubts. When I was a kid, I used to be in plays, theater, and I think I was really good at it. And once the curtains opened, I was loving it. and I felt, the energy. But up until the time the curtain opened, I'd be a nervous wreck. And that is very common. It's self-doubt, it's, you're afraid, the nerves frazzle you. So other things to get away from when you fly, things that you need to release and leave behind: self-doubt, self-loathing. Unfortunately, there is a lot of that, and I will explain why I think self-loathing occurs. And it's from judgment and opinion of others. So we need to also release judgment. Release judging of ourselves and releasing how others judge us, or how we are afraid that others will judge us. So again, I think society brings it on us. So from the time we're itty bitty, we are being judged in some way. When you are in school, for the most part, everything you do is given a score. Your parents or your babysitters or whoever is taking care of you, they will also let you know if what you're doing is right or wrong, as opposed to, hey, it's just normal and just let the kid be. So as a result of that, we have a lot of fear of what other people will think of us. And the same thing, we are afraid of what we think of ourselves. So as part of that, we have self-critiquing. So I am a writer, and I think with a lot of professions, you never are happy with what you do. Every single time you look at what you do, especially for writers, I know this is common. Every time they look at what they write, they re-edit, because we are constantly improving everything we do. That does not mean that all the first 10 drafts were bad, but we are making them better. So improvement is one thing when you are seeking to be the best you can be. But if you beat yourself up and say, oh my God, this is horrible, how did I do this? That is not good. That is not healthy. So self-critiquing in that respect is negative. Again, it's fine to self-critique and say, hey, how can I do this better? How can I feel better about this? As opposed to, I was an idiot or whatever. So another thing that I think we need to cut away from is self-consciousness. And I think self-consciousness is so common. And if you think about it, we have mirrors everywhere. And so we're always concerned about how we look, how we sound, how we are dressed, how we're concerned about everything. We are so self-conscious. And Jay Shetty, in his book, Think Like a Monk, he talked about when he was at the ashram, there were no mirrors anywhere. There may have been a tiny mirror in the bathroom so that the men could shave. But other than that, they purposely had no mirrors. So I think that it is essential, in order to first love yourself, in order to fly, you need to get rid of some of that baggage. And so I'm going to repeat what some of those baggages were that I think we need to get rid of: self-doubt, self-loathing, self-critiquing, self-consciousness, judgment, and worrying about the opinion of others. So as I mentioned, I am going to be doing some virtual and in-person First Love Yourself workshops, and you can comment below and DM me on Facebook or on Instagram for more information. And of course, check out my posts on Facebook and on Instagram, which will talk more about my First Love Yourself workshops. But my workshops are always very holistic. I will have poetry in them. I will have affirmations. I will have restorative yoga, and I will have interactive, introspective exercises as well. And what I want to do today, and this is not part of what I'm doing in my workshops, but what I wanted to include today are some affirmations that I found extremely helpful. And I mentioned it in the book that I'm writing. And the book that I'm writing, please send me a DM as well if you want to be included in my mailing list so that you know more about all the things that I'm doing in my book. But in the book that I write, I talk about, I have one whole chapter that's about depression, anxiety, and PTSD. And I give research findings about one specific practice, which I did for several years, which has been found to be really helpful to counteract depression and to build self-worth. And it's called Sahaja, Sahaja yoga. And what I loved about Sahaja is that it incorporates positive affirmations. So I'm going to lead you in just a few of these positive affirmations right now. So I invite you to close your eyes. I invite you to sit upright with your back as straight as possible and try to relax the shoulders. Relax your jaw. Have your tongue relaxed as well. Take a couple of deep inhalations and deep exhalations. And with your next inhalation, I want you to silently repeat, I am not guilty. I am not guilty. One more time. I am not guilty. Now in Sahaja, we do these for longer, but I'm going to go on to the next affirmation, which is also a part of Sahaja. Forgive me for any mistakes I may have made knowingly or unknowingly. Forgive me for any mistakes I may have made knowingly or unknowingly. One more time, silently repeat. Forgive myself for any mistakes I may have made knowingly or unknowingly. And now the third one, and Sahaja has more, but I'm just selecting 3. And this one to me is extremely important. They're all important, but this one is a biggie for me. I forgive everyone, including myself. Take some more really deep breaths and silently say, I forgive everyone, including myself. We're going to do this one more time. Take a huge breath, filling the lungs with as much air as you can, and silently say, I forgive everyone, including myself. And now exhale as deeply as you can. Squeeze out all the stale air. And one thing that I used to like to do in my classes a lot, in ending the classes, is I would say, take the right hand to your left shoulder and the left hand to your right shoulder and give yourself a huge hug. Take some really deep breaths as you do this. One more really deep breath. And again, I'm Deborah Charns with the Right Council, the Namaste Council, and the Namaste Getaway, and I will be leading free workshops. The in-person workshops are an hour and a half long. The virtual ones will probably be between an hour and an hour and a half. And again, they are free, but you must sign up in advance to reserve your space. So DM me for more information. And again, check out my posts on both Instagram and Facebook. And after February, I will always be doing the First Love Yourself workshops on request, in person or virtual as requested. So thank you from my heart to yours. Namaste.